Okay, so in my last clip, I explained that Italians have got two present tenses. They have the present absolute for habits and the present continuous, or quite often the present progressive, to explain actions that coincide with speaking. So, for example, now, sto spiegando, I am explaining, because I'm explaining whilst I'm talking. It's very common. How is it formed? Well, this is what you do. You use stare plus a gerund, okay? If you don't know what a gerund is, it's an ing word, okay? So, for example, I am explaining. Explaining in that sentence would be the gerund, okay? Why do you use stare? Well, remember in Italian there's two verbs to be. We've got essere, which we're all used to using, and that's for permanent states such as nationalities, okay, or where you are, right? But stare is for only temporary situations. So, for example, come stai? Sto bene. I have to use stare because tomorrow I might not be bene, I might be male, okay? And this explains why in the present progressive you also have to use stare, you can't use essere, because this idea of being a present progressive, these actions aren't going to last forever, they're temporary, okay? So, sto spiegando, I'm explaining now, but this isn't a habit, this isn't going to be something I do all of the time, it's a temporary present action. So, how do we form the present progressive? Well, you take the correct part of stare with something else. So, stare, sto, stai, sta, stiamo, state, and just squeeze it in, stanno, okay? Then remember, in Italian, your verbs always fall into three groups. You've got an ERE group, an ERE group, and an IRE group. So, for example, sto spiegando, I am explaining. Spiegare, ending in an ERE, I'm going to change that to ando. Sto spiegando. I am explaining because I'm doing it now. Okay? If I take an an ERE, scrivere, normally ends in an ERE. To make my gerund, I'm going to change it to endo. So, sto scrivendo, I am writing. Allora, ora, Sharon, che cosa stai facendo? What are you doing? Sto spiegando. Sto scrivendo. Because I'm doing those things the same time as talking to you. Okay? Your second group of verbs, we've got ERE, spiegare, ERE, scrivere. I'll be doing this in a minute. Pulire means to clean. And it ends, of course, in an IRE. But at the moment, that isn't the gerund. That's just the infinitive. It means to clean. But I want to explain what I'm actually going to be doing shortly. Cleaning. So again, I need to change this. And it changes to ENDO. Okay? So, sto pulendo. I'm cleaning. Sì. Sto pulendo. Sto spiegando. Sto scrivendo. E poi sto pulendo. Okay? So just to recap, the present progressive in Italian, it's one of those tenses that is used simultaneously with speaking to explain a simultaneous action, okay, that you do at the same time as you speak. So, sto spiegando, it's an ERE verb. I take off the ERE, ando. ERE becomes endo. IRE. It used to be pulire, to clean. I change it to pulendo, okay? So, for example, if I wanted to say Sharon, she is explaining. Sharon sta spiegando, okay? If I wanted to say we are writing, if you're writing this down at the minute, it would be stiamo scrivendo. And you're writing and listening at the same time and watching, so it has to be the present progressive. Stiamo scrivendo, okay? If you're cleaning, because everybody's got all of this extra time during coronavirus, of course, you may say something like stiamo pulendo. We are cleaning, because you're doing that at the same time as speaking, okay? So, these are your gerund, your ing endings, okay? However, do they all follow that pattern? No. Bad news. But the good news is 99% of them do. I'm going to write on the board, there's one or two very common irregular ones that these are going to change slightly, but there's only about 3, okay, so it's no big deal. Right, so remember it's stare plus the gerund for I am doing something at the same time. So, what are your irregulars? Well, here we are. I'll just remove all of that. Okay, so for example, fare, when you change that to a gerund, becomes facendo. So, for example, if you say sto facendo, I am doing. Per esempio, sto facendo la mia lezione su YouTube. I am doing my lesson on YouTube because I'm doing it the same time as I'm talking about it. Okay? Another one that you could have, an irregular, is dire. Okay? That is going to change to dicendo. So, for example, sto dicendo la verità. I am telling the truth. Okay? Sto dicendo l'uso della grammatica. I'm telling, vi sto dicendo la grammatica. I'm telling you about the grammar. Okay? Another one that you could have, another irregular, becomes bevendo. Sto bevendo. I know I'm not doing it now. I feel like it. Sto bevendo. I am drinking. Okay. So just to recap, Italian, remember, has got 2 present tenses. It's got its regular one. Okay. It's habits, things you do all of the time. Okay. And what's called the present progressive, which is used commonly in Italian, but only when you are talking about an action that you are doing at the same time, okay? Allora, I'm going to send you a PowerPoint of various tasks that I would like you to try and complete. On it, you're going to have some sentence work where you're going to try and use this, and where you're going to have to decide, does that sentence have a regular habit, or is the action simultaneous, okay? I'm also going to send you a film clip. It's from a film that we've all seen, La Vita è Bella, and it's the part where Roberto Benigni visits the school because he wants to try and impress the lady who plays his love interest in the film. And he starts jumping on tables, he starts being silly, the children start laughing at him, etc, etc. I would like you to imagine that you are one of the children who is watching him, and that you are living in that moment, and that you are explaining what he is actually doing at the time. So, for example, if he is explaining something, I want you to write in Italian, he is explaining, with the correct part of stare for he is, and then the changed form of spiegare. So, for example, he is explaining would be sta spiegando. If he is talking or if he is laughing, you can use the present progressive as well. Later on in the clip, you're going to have the headmaster and the school inspector walk along the corridor. So you're no longer going to be using sta for he is. You're going to be using stanno for they are. So if they are walking, can you explain it in the present progressive? If they are whispering, explain it in the present progressive, okay? You can write this little film clip thing as well from different points of view. So you could say, for example, write a name of one of the characters at the top. Imagine that you are them. So you could write it from the point of view of one of the children or from the point of view of the school inspector. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please email me. But the little film clip, if you watch it all the way through to give you a bit of an idea, and then just pause it every, say, 10 seconds, think about the action, and then try and explain it with the present progressive as if you were living inside that film clip, okay? I'm also going to send you some other little translation exercises and some sentence work and some other bits and bobs on the PowerPoint. I'm sorry that this isn't anything like what I would say standard teaching, but this is the times that we live in, and that's how it goes. If you could email me any of your homework, that would be absolutely brilliant. Your sentence work, your little translations and stuff that I'll set on the PowerPoint. And then I'll get it back to you. It's very straightforward for me to get it back to you. I can just scan it and email it back. And then hopefully when this is all over, we'll be back in the classroom soon. Okay? Ciao.